we are working on this Subaru XT. As you can see here, it has a little bit of a hole in the block. Yeah, that's what we need, an EJ25. We got one. All right, as you can see, we got it out, guys. So now it's time to start rebuilding. All right, so in the last video, we pulled this block out, and now we're gonna start tearing it down, and this is why. All right, well, we got the timing belt cover off. Just the first step. I haven't ever done a Subaru engine rebuild, so a lot of the stuff is pretty obvious. We got a tensioner over here that we'll probably take apart first so we can release the tension off of the belt to take the belt off. The belt still, it looks like it's got a little bit of oil or grease on it from the explosion, and I don't know if that compromised the integrity of the belt at all. We'll have to revisit that and see what the deal is with that. So far that's pretty much it. We're going to tear into this and see what we can come up with. Alright guys, so we're into the engine a little bit here, trying to take off the cam pulleys, and we don't have the special Subaru tool to do this. In the process, we noticed there were some tool marks on every single one of the cams and around this area, and these are the solid cams. So we just threw a pipe wrench on there, and we're just going to go for broke and see if we can send it and get this off of there. So I'm going to give it another tug up right now. Yes. Let's see if we can do the other one. These, don't use a screwdriver for these unless you want to strip them. I already learned that the hard way. Let's see. Just keep an eye on that. Yes, sir. Those are the bite marks.
Not too bad.
No, there was already some on there too, so I mean, as long as the cam surfaces here are clean, we're good. And I'm not going to put anything back in there that's got any damage on it. Now we just got to do the bottom ones.
We'll probably do it the same way.
Yeah, we should be able to.
Do it the same way.
For everybody worried about this and doing it with timing belts, if you're trying to save your timing belt, this is all you really need. Just make sure that if you do it, you don't screw it up too bad, but you can get it right in there, and you don't need to worry about any of the surfaces except for these ones. And then obviously if you do any damage and there's any burrs on anything afterwards, make sure you clean it up good, because you don't want that back in your engine and marring up any of your polished surfaces. But as long as you don't have the hollow cams, this is the tool right here. No special tool needed. Plumbing tools. We did get the cams out, and it wasn't too bad at all. So we're going to be pulling these heads off now. It's a little weird that they have to, I mean, I've taken off a few heads before, and I've never had to take the cams out in order to get to the head bolts. So it's a little strange that we have to break the head down this far, but hey, screw it. Alright, time to pull this next one off.
Watch the cooling.
These are such simple motors to work on. Sucks you gotta pull it out to do all this stuff, but still, not that bad. Alright, we got another head. Alright, so I was able to pull the piston out. There's the bottom. The only thing that was holding it together are the rings. And even that's barely. But this piston is totally cracked. That's crazy, isn't it? This spot right here where it's clean contacted the top of the cylinder head. And if you look on the bottom of the cylinder head right here, you can see the clean spot where it contacted, and it knocked all the carbon deposits off. And if you look right here, it also contacted the valves a little bit. So we may have some damage to these valves, because it looks like every single one of them made contact. If you look at most pistons, they're completely black, just like this, with no, clean marks on there. So these may be bad, and this head may not even be any good. So we're gonna have to check the clearances and see what's going on. But that, oh man, can you believe this car was still running? They had to shut it off. That's crazy, absolutely crazy. Here's the connecting rod with the wrist pin right out of the bottom of the piston. It ripped out, and this side just totally destroyed. There is the bottom or at least the majority of the bottom of this. We got, we're missing some of it, but we got a bunch of it there, so I don't know. Definitely a bearing failure for sure, probably due to bad oil. This will be unlikely to happen again. STI rods, new pistons and rings, and new crank is sitting over there, all polished. We're gonna upgrade this to be able to handle a little bit more power, so that doesn't happen again. Get it! So we're cracking apart the case for the one that's going in the new engine that's going in the car. Yeah, I can't talk right now apparently. So we're taking the oil pump off, which is right here on the front of the motor. It's powered right off of the crank. So actually, and pop it right off. There we go. Oil pump. We already cracked all the case bolts, so we're just going to finish taking them off, and then we should be able to crack this sucker. Super motors, you have to remove the pistons in order to access the removal of the crankcase halves. So in order to do that, you have to take these little ports off the side, and it gives you access to that right there, and it also lines up on the other one right there. You just need to get down in there with a needle nose, and we can pry off one of those clips. I dropped it.
We'll find it later. Not going anywhere.
Nope.
Let's see if we can't tap that out. Yeah.
Small taps when you're doing this, so that way you don't destroy anything in case you get bound up. But that's how they come out. Cool. Look at that. It's a piston.
Spare parts.
Spare parts. If you're reusing any of these parts, you're going to want to make sure you mark which piston comes out of which hole and which wrist pin comes out of which hole. We are not reusing any of this stuff, so it really doesn't matter for us. But if you are, you're going to want to make sure you know where everything is to go back in the same spot. If and when you guys are ever doing a cracking of the case on one of these blocks, double check to make sure that you got all your bolts out, and then go back and look again, and then go back and double check a second time, because I did it twice already and I still missed one. There's a bolt hidden underneath this bracket that I did not see, and I was trying to separate everything and I could not get it apart without that bolt there coming out. So should come apart fairly easily now. Everything is already kind of split. I'm just going to set this out of the way for one moment. Here she is. It's got some oil sludge buildup. It's not too bad, but it's definitely something that we're going to want to take care of. I don't want to leave it like that. I wouldn't put it back in my engine. So yeah, just basically, if you're taking these apart, be super careful and triple, quadruple check for all your bolts. There are like 5 different sizes and they're all in different areas, so make sure you look and look again. Best thing to do is to actually look up the manual to see where all the bolts are. That's what I should have done. There's the clip that we lost. Alright guys, so as you can see, it's really not that hard to take one of these apart. There's a lot of bolts, a lot of stuff involved, but overall, if you got to do this, just go ahead and jump into it. You'll be able to find there's tons of loads of information on the internet. Loads. All you got to do is a couple of searches. You'll be able to find anything that you're looking for. The manuals are out online. There's forums. People have been working on these cars for years now, so there's tons of information. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.